Okay.
Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Lorelei Shamayo. This is the MeWe Metaphysics and Wellness Fairs for energizing body, mind, heart, and soul. We have events throughout the Northwest and online, and we interview our practitioners and vendors so you get a chance to know who we are before you meet us at an event. I'm excited to be here today to interview Linda Pointer. Linda, it's lovely to be with you.
Oh, well, thank you. It's great to join you, and I welcome the opportunity to talk about Cowrie shell divination. I first heard about it. It's been almost 8 years when I went to a workshop in Northern California, and Toby, who was one of the co-hosts of the workshop, he gave the opportunity for someone to come up and do a quick reading. And he had a cloth like this. I can show it. And it has 5 elements on it. And then there were shells and little this and stones and all the rings and all these fun things. And you move them like you're frosting the cake. And I was just completely enthralled. Like, that was wow. So I scheduled a reading that night. And then as I was on my own journey, spiritual journey, and primarily more in the Andean cosmology, shamanism. And this cowrie shell reading is from the Dogara tribe in Africa. And a cowrie shell is just these small little stones. They're often used in divination. This is a style of cowrie shell divination. Up means yes, or it's an opening. The backside, it's either cut or not cut. And that can mean no, or it's potential energy, but not activated.
So one's like, it's moving them around and then it's where one pauses and where they are, or like, how does...
Yeah, it's you just like frost the cake, and then where they land, it's like almost like, what's the child's game where you have the chairs, wherever the chair stops, you sit, and that's you sit on the right chair, you got the prize, like that.
Yeah, great. And I guess what is tell us about some of your journey that led you to discovering this, or?
It was really that I went to a workshop and saw it for the first time.
It sounds like you're
then what was that?
Well, I just say it sounds like what brought you to the workshop? It just sounds like you must have had these interests for
there was the other. I had never heard of Toby, who he goes under the healing drummer. He uses a drum for healing. He does other things. Linda Fitch was in the Four Winds, had been teaching in the Four Winds, and I had gone to some shaman workshops with Four Winds. So somebody had just said, oh, there's a workshop not that far from you. These are the 2 people. I didn't know Toby at all. And actually it was not an easy workshop. It was grief, going through grieving in a Dogara style ritual where you're crying. Anyway, this was the best part of that workshop. The grieving part was quite difficult.
Yeah. So then you do these readings with people now?
Well, I didn't learn how to do this until about 3.5 years ago. And then I arranged my own workshop with Toby and another friend, and we went to a friend's beach house and we set up our own workshop, and he taught us how to do that. And then I haven't really put myself out there in terms of offering it for doing an exchange for money, or I just read for friends and other people in an informal way.
Yeah. So it's not that you're getting ready to launch yourself. And
yes, I am.
People
I'm really interested in doing that.
Yeah, that's great. What kinds of questions do people ask, and what kinds of questions does it answer? Can you share a little more about what that's like?
Well, Maladoma, who's the one that brought it here, I had my first reading from him in, end of 2016. And he does one of the most exciting parts of this system is that it tells you about your gift and purpose. So this reading from Maladoma, this hour I had that I still have recorded, and I go back and record it. This was the monumental gift and purpose that really was like, whoa, it's like, I don't know if I can do that. So it's great with gift and purpose, but then it has, the basic standard. There's a relationship ring. I've got a little gold thing for, money. There's coins. And if the coins land on certain things, so you can use it for business opportunities, relationships. Sometimes I just do a daily reading and say, how am I doing or what's going on? So it can go across the board of any issues. I was recently did an updated session with Toby, like a follow-up to just like test where I am with this. And I said, write something on a piece of paper. Don't tell me anything. I'll read it. And it was really amazing. I could like pick up without even knowing the topic of it.
Yeah, great. Yeah, so it sounds like all kinds of different like basic issues people can approach, and it sounds like, right, whatever people are asking, there's a way that some useful information will come from the experience.
The Dagara 5 elements, there is water, fire, earth, nature, and mineral. And there's no air in their system, which is interesting. So when I first did it, and many people say this, well, I'm a Sagittarius, I'm fire. And in this system, I'm water. My year ends in 6, and 1 in 6 is related to water. So it's almost like, if I were to describe it, like you're putting on a different pair of glasses. And because I think it's a way, Maladoma would never answer this question of why there is no air, but of course I've speculated on this. And in my thinking after this years is that we're so much in terms of our culture in our brain and our thoughts, that in this system, it's almost like your thoughts and consciousness are embedded in all of the elements and express themselves in the elements. So it's actually quite a relaxing, it's more of an experiential divination. And sometimes when I move the shells or someone moves it, I can feel their ancestors I can feel the love around them when they move the shells. There was a friend that was a diver, very attached with, very connected to the ocean. And when she moved the shells, it looked like there was a wave going through.
Yeah, great. Yeah, it sounds like you're picking up all kinds of different things. Like there are all sorts of different things that feed into how the readings unfold. And then it's where things land and your interpretation of that. And I imagine whatever intuition, whatever messages you're receiving about what's there as well. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's the standard part of the reading, and then there's the intuitive part. So the standard part of the reading, I have a chart. So there's a stone for each element, except there's 2 for water. So if the fire stone, which represents the ancestors, lands in the element of fire, which is always a really good one, it's very good. You're aligned with the will of the ancestors, you're fine. So there's the standard message wherever the elemental stone lie. And then there's the spread or how it looks. And then sometimes there's just really funny things. Sometimes I have to just start laughing. There's just really funny things that show up.
Yeah, sounds great. Well,
and the person that you're doing the reading for is represented by a tiny little worry doll. So if the worry doll is face down, it means you're surrendered. If your worry doll is face up, it means you're worried. But I have the worry doll ends up like diving into shells, sticking out of rings, doing like a yoga on the side, like it's like very funny acrobatic positions sometimes.
The person doing the person that's like having the reading done for them initially, they probably don't realize all the different things that they're moving around, right?
Right. And even when I do it, I just kind of look up and move it. Now I can even do it long distance. And it works the same, is that I just tune into the other person's energy and they say their name 3 times and I move the shells for them, so over Zoom it works great.
Great, great. Oh, this is very exciting. Exciting to bring just new modalities and new approaches, as well as new practitioners into the community, so everyone has experience and can learn all these things and all the insight that comes through. So if people want to connect with you and learn more about you, is there a place on the web where they can connect with you? Are you still getting that set up, or?
I'm still getting that set up. I have as a current YouTube. I might work off YouTube, but I have 2
Sure.
YouTube channels. I started, I would say, at a political reading YouTube channel, which is Linda Pointer Adventures in Shaman Worlding. But I'm also going to set up one just for personal readings.
Great, great. All right. Well, that's a way people can connect with you for now, and they can also experience your work at the MeWe fairs. So this is great.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
You are welcome. And for all of you listening or watching, you can find out about all of our events at mewefairs.com. That's MEWEFAIRS.com. Thanks, Linda.
Thank you.